Good morning, Borada exercise chums. This is balance and stability. I sometimes call it balance and strength, but basically we are working on a set of exercises that's going to help you maintain your function, improve your function, and live independently, live well. You'll always feel better after doing these exercises. So, what are we going to be doing today? We're going to be doing our warm-up seated. We're then going to be doing a little bit of standing work. And remember, we've got the chair for balance if you need it, okay? If you don't need it, we just stand back a little bit. If for whatever reason you're not feeling like standing today, you can do all these exercises in our seated position. So, shall we get started? Before we do, let's just make sure you're feeling well. So if you are unwell, if you've got any sort of fever, today's not the day to be doing formal exercise. Whatever you're feeling like today, it's really important to pace yourself. So if I'm pushing you too hard, you're the boss. You just slow it down a little bit, wait for the next section. At any point, you can sit down and just have a little bit of recovery, come back to the exercises. Remember, you're in charge. I'm just making suggestions. Now, I've got a drink with me for this session, just to keep hydrated. But if you prefer to drink afterwards, that's absolutely fine. I'm also going to be using our stretchy resistance band. So just have a little check of it, make sure it's in tip-top working order. And of course, we've got our chair. So ideally, you know, we're all working from home here. We're all exercising at home. So we've got to work with what we've got. So if you haven't got the exercise band, if you've only got a chair with arms, that's absolutely fine. But the ideal situation is a chair without arms so we can move our arms freely. Okay, so let's get started, shall we? I've turned my chair to the side so you can see me. We're just going to make sure we get into our working position. And I'll remind you, if you've not done this before, we're going to just think about sitting up nice and tall. So if I turn myself to the side, you can see all of a sudden, I'm not using the back of the chair to support me. I am using my muscles, and so are you going to do that. So let's see if we can sit up nice and tall. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to lift one sitting bone at a time, and we're going to walk forwards in our chair, and then we're going to walk backwards. So this is quite a useful skill. Call it the bottom shuffle. But if you did find yourself on the floor at any point, unexpectedly or expectedly, and you need to move to something to help yourself get up, this is a really useful way of doing it. We officially teach you to do it on your hands and knees, but if you can't get on your knees, that's not very useful. So this is an alternative. So we're just going to practice this for a couple of moments before we get properly into our working position. So our working position, we're sitting in that front half of the chair. We've got those feet hip width apart, underneath the knees rather than here or here. Okay, so we're really making sure we're engaging our leg muscles and our core muscles. So I'm going to turn this way a little bit to do the warm-up. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with a little shoulder squeeze up to the ears and back down. I'll turn a little bit more. I used to sort of face you, but I've noticed that it's sometimes harder to see me when we're straight on. So I think this is going to work quite well. We're just squeezing the shoulders up to the ears, relaxing the shoulders back down. So this is a nice shoulder warm up. Now I'm thinking it's Norma and Sandra with us today. But if it's not, hello and welcome, whoever you are. Now, we're just going to squeeze up and then we're going to relax those shoulders down. I'm going to turn to face you because what we're going to do next, we're just going to gently drop that chin to the chest, lift that chin up, okay? So again, I'm just turning so you can see from the best angle. And this is just about warming up these neck muscles. They can be really stiff, particularly on a damp day like today. So we're going to lift it up and then we're going to just gently turn the head one way. And again, we're not looking for you to achieve a world record in how far you can turn your head. This is just about moving to your point of tension, gently bringing that chin back. So if you had a pencil in your mouth, you'd be drawing a totally horizontal curved line. And then the other way. Good. Try and keep those shoulders nice and relaxed while we're doing this. This is a really nice thing to do. You know, maybe in the morning, if you wake up and your neck's a little bit stiff, movement is magic. So I'm such a big fan of movement to heal or help heal ills. So we're going to roll these shoulders up and back now. So we're looking straight ahead, just seeing if we can bring the shoulders up, sort of rotate them back down. And then we're going to relax those arms again. Now, let's see if we can just take some little taps forwards with these toes, not really going really a long way. We're just starting to get some little leg movement. So any movement means the muscles are having to contract, and it's starting to sort of help blood flow around the body, start getting more blood moving through these legs. The movement in the knees going to just start to get the joint more mobile. So the synovial fluid that greases it, it goes from being quite sticky to oily. So movement is easier. And that's why we warm up. That's why we quite often feel stiffer first thing in the morning than after about half hour of moving around. Okay, now let's bring these legs in. Let's see now if we can, I'm going to move this way, bring these hands underneath this chest. Now, do you remember our corset? We're going to just do this corset up. It's running from the ribs down to the pelvis. So we're just going to tighten it a little bit, not so hard you can't breathe. And then we're going to take a little twist one way. We're going to come back to center, and we're going to take a little twist the other way. Don't forget your corset. Oh, I haven't really got one on. And come back to center. But all these muscles in your trunk, they act like a corset. And sometimes I talk about drawing your tummy button in, but it's really the whole area, not just that area by the tummy button. So we're going to come back to center. Let's see if we can just go back this way, to your left, come back to center, and then to your right. And then we're going to bring it down. And then I'm just turning slightly so you can see. We're just going to let these arms swing a little bit. Really nice way to let these shoulders relax. And then we're going to see if we can walk the feet a little bit wider. So again, I'm going to turn this way. So we're nice and evenly balanced on that seat. We're going to come into that lower back warm up. So you may feel a little bit uncomfortable with this one. And if you do, just make sure you keep your sitting bones firmly on the chair. What we don't want you doing is lifting one sitting bone, because we're more likely to fall. So we're just lengthening through that spine. Lovely. Nice bit of movement in those joints. That's good. And it's amazing how you can start off doing this thinking, oh, my back feels stiff. After 4 each way, you've warmed up. So let's bring those feet back in. And what we're going to do now is we're just going to take a little walk on the spot. So I'm always turning. You carry on facing forwards. I'm just showing you what we're doing. So we're not lifting the knees a long way. It's just a gentle stroll, if that makes sense. And we're also seeing if we can lift the toes off the floor and then placing the ball of the foot back down. So we're getting a little bit of movement in those ankles. That's it. Good. Should we see if we can bring a bit of arm movement in? We're going to go 4, 3, 2, and 1. Then we're going to settle those feet down and take that W position. I'm going to push away, bring it back. So we're just going to push away and bring it back. So we're pushing those palms away from you and back, and we're going to push and back. Now relax those arms. We're going to go back to those toe taps. We're going to tap and in. Good. Tap and in. Good. Tap and in and tap and in. Now we're going to put the two movements together. So we're going to tap out and in. Push out and in. Push out and in and push out and in. Should we do 2 more? Last one. And we're going to bring it in and we're just going to roll these shoulders. So I want to warm up our upper back a little bit now. So what we're going to do is we're going to take those hands out in front of you, palms down. We're just going to squeeze these elbows behind us and push those arms back. So we're keeping that nice strong trunk, and we're just as if you were rowing a boat. Okay, so we're just rowing this boat. And we're going to take one more and again, relax those arms. And again, should we see if we can go for that little walk on the spot? So we're just lifting those knees, maybe a little bit higher than we did before. And we're just going to do a couple more, really warming up these hip flexors and bringing it down. Now, let's see if we can take a little tap out to the side and in. So we've got to keep that trunk nice and stable and in. Just relax those arms. You'll find that you want to do that. Okay, you'll want to do that. What I'm going to get you to do is keep this nice and steady. So we're getting these muscles in the side of the hips warmed up, and also we're not going to sort of lean too far. Good. All right, and then we're going to bring it back in, and we're going to see if we can lift those heels off the floor. So we're just going to lift the heels up and down, lift and down, lift and down, lift and down, lift. One more if you can. Great stuff. Now just take those feet forward ever so slightly, and we're going to pull the toes up. Pull the toes up. That's it. Pull and pull and pull and pull. Am I repeating myself? And last one. And bring it down. Good work. Okay, we'll bring those heels back underneath the knees. What we're going to do is take one foot out in front of us, and we're just going to draw that toe up to the knee. So you'll feel a little stretch in the calf muscles. And then we're going to bring that foot in, and we'll do the same on the other side. So draw that toe up to the knee and bring it in. Now, what we're going to do now, we're going to do a little heel toe action, heel and toe, heel and toe. So we're finding that same spot on the carpet. And as you push that toe down, you'll feel that little stretch in the front of the leg here, the lower leg. Last couple, and we'll do the same on this side, heel and toe. Good. Heel and toe. Brilliant. Heel and toe. So this is great to get those ankles really nice and flexible. That's it. Get them really moving and bring it down. Lovely. Okay, my friends. We're just going to see if we can walk backwards in this chair again. So I am going to let you sit back in the chair. And I just want to do a little bit of a warm up for these knees. So you can see I've just allowed this leg to straighten out a little bit. And I'm just going to straighten this leg a little bit. Now, try not to fully extend the knee. We're just warming up the leg muscles. We don't need to lock out that knee. I know one or two of you struggle with your knees after we've done this. So keep the range slightly smaller than you maybe have done before. So we're just bending and straightening, and then we're going to relax, bring this foot in. We'll do the same on the other side. Good. While we're doing this, I'm just going to warn you, we've had a really difficult week of internet interruption. Now, I'm hoping the council have sorted out their VPN overnight. If we do get interrupted, what I'm going to get you to do, my friends, is go onto the playlists on this channel and find the balance and stability section and just sort of play that one, do that instead. But I've got everything crossed. The first class today was fine. Last one of these, we're going to bring it in, sit up nice and tall again. Let's walk forwards into that working position. And what we're going to do now is take one leg out in front. So you can see what I've got there. I've got that leg nice and straight, and keeping that back as straight as you can. We're going to lift that chest towards the straight leg. We're feeling a little bit of a stretch down the back of the thigh. We're going to come all the way up, bring it in. Let's do the same on this leg, shall we? So you can see I'm keeping my back nice and straight, nice and relaxed. We're not sort of trying to save the world with flexing. We're just getting a little bit of lengthening in that muscle. Good. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to walk on the spot. We're going to bring those arms back in. So we're marching nice and tall, and then we're going to see if we can take some little punching movements. You able to punch forwards? Let's see if we can punch up a little bit, shall we? Punch up a little bit. Let's see if we can punch forwards. Don't push into any pain. Find your range. Punch up. Good. And then we're going to release. Lovely. Okay, now when you release, let's just bring these arms to the back of the chair. We're going to draw those shoulder blades together, get a nice stretch across the front of that body. And then we're going to release and let those arms go again. Let those arms go again. And then what we're going to do, we're just going to take a hand to the opposite shoulder, hand to that shoulder, back and back. We're going to do the same the other way. So we're going to start with that right hand, left and right. Let's do that again. There, That's it. Now this time, when we take this arm across, we're going to hug it in, okay? We're going to hug it across the body and we're going to release. And then we're going to do the same. So we're using that left hand, using the right to hug it across the body. And we're going to release. Lovely. Now, let's just walk these feet out a little bit wider. We're going to see if we can just slide this hand up, reach up, bring it back down. Okay, we're just going to slide. So imagine you're sat next to a wall right in front of you, and someone's asked you to just slide your hand up the wall just to your point of tension and bringing it back down. So we're just sliding that hand up and down, and then we're going to roll these shoulders and we're going to relax. Should we see if we can walk these feet back in? Great stuff. All right, so we're going to think about preparing to stand up now. I'm going to see if we can do a set of hovers. So let me move this chair ever so slightly here. So again, we're in that front third of the chair. The further back you are, the more challenging it's going to be to get out of that chair. I'm really struggling. Now, it's the feet that are the main protagonists. So wherever you are, bring those heels either underneath the knees or slightly further back. The further forward they are, the more challenging it's going to be. Once those heels go in front of the knees, it's game over for me. Right, so I'm going to bring them here. Now, all we're going to do is imagine that we've just got to lift that bottom an inch off the chair. Lift, back down. Good. Now, if you found that quite easy, you might just take the feet underneath the knees rather than locked back. Heels must stay on the floor. Lift, control it back down. Good. Lift, control it back down. So you can feel the muscles at work here. Lift, control it back down. I've taken my feet too far forwards. Lift, control it back down. Good. Lift. Now, if you're not leaving the seat, do not worry, because just by pressing the feet into the floor, you are contracting these muscles. Try without lifting. You can feel the bottom muscles. You can feel these muscles in the thighs working. And as we ask them to do it more and more, they will strengthen. So remember that. If you can do that exercise 3 times a week, just for 10 times, you will see an improvement. Now, we're just going to move those feet a little bit. Move those arms. Are we ready to stand up? Yay! Okay, let's do it. So, make sure you feel safe is the number one thing. If you need something in front of you to hold on to just for balance when you get up, that is fine. If you stand up and just leave those feet still, there is a risk that you might get dizzy. So when we stand up, remember, we instantly start to move the feet on the spot. So should we do this all together? Yeah? All right, let's go. 3, 2, 1. Let's stand up, and then we're going to move those feet. We're not moving anyway. We're walking on the spot till we're guaranteed that the blood is with the head and we're not going to get dizzy. Now, when you feel ready, we're going to decide which way we're going to move around our chair, and we're going to start moving the feet first. So we're just going to move 1 foot at a time till we get to the direction we want to be, and then we're going to walk to the back of our chair. Good. So moving those feet first is really important. Now I'm going to move forwards a little bit because I'm always out of the light if I stand too far backwards. We're going to take a little walk on the spot behind the chair just to get our bearings, just to know where we are with this chair. Good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pretend I've got that chair in front of me so you can see my legs. Now, let's see if we can steady those feet. We're going to take a little tap to the outside of that chair leg, bring the foot back in. We're going to tap, bring that foot back in. Good. So remember, when we were doing this in the chair, we want to keep that nice strong trunk. So imagine you've got a cup of tea on top of your head, and we don't want you to lose it or spill it because it's quite hot. So we're just tapping to the outside of that chair. Good. Now, we're going to bring the feet in. We're going to move them a little bit, you might notice that you're a little bit stiff in this area because we did our warm-up seated. So the next thing we're going to do is just ease off these hips a little bit. We're going to take a little squeeze behind and in. So we're squeezing the bottom muscles and taking that foot behind us. So two purposes here. We're opening up the hips a little bit, getting a little bit of dynamic stretch on those hip flexors here. And we're also using the bottom muscles. Strong bottom muscles, really important. Good. So we just do a few more of these. That's great. 3 and 2 and 1. Now we're going to bring the feet in. We're going to walk it out. So if we're holding on to the chair, we're going to just have our hands here. If we're going to just hold on with one hand, we can take that 90-degree bend at the elbow and we can just start to take a good stroll with one arm. And if we're using both arms, again, both arms, that 90-degree bend at the elbow, and we're just pumping those elbows forwards and backwards. And then we're going to steady those feet. We're going to take those little taps to the side and in. So it's like a diagonal tap. Good. Now, we've got all the movements we need for a little 4-minute workout that's going to help you improve your stamina. So we're going to bring in a little bit of an interval approach. Okay, now we bring the feet in. We're just going to take those little taps behind us again. So the taps are going to be a recovery phase. We're going to use them as a little bit of balance, a little bit of bringing that breathing rate back down. So let's just do 2 more of these. Bring it in. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be walking on the spot. So let's walk on the spot together. I'm going to hold onto my chair with one hand, and I'm just going to take a nice gentle pace. So this is a sort of, I'm going for a little walk, and I'm looking at the flowers, I'm listening to the bird song. But then our walk is going to change to a walk where we're walking to the train station. Our train is due to leave in a couple of minutes. So there's some urgency. So we're going to make these movements bigger. Okay, now we're just going to do that for 15 seconds. So you're lifting your knees a little bit higher than normal. We're going a little bit faster than normal. And then we're going to slow it down back to that slower pace. Then we're going to recover with those taps out to the side. Good. So they're slow and controlled, giving you a chance to get this breath back. And then we're going to do the march again. Okay. So are we ready? We're going to go for that lovely little stroll. I'm listening to the birds. You can really hear the birds actually at the moment, can't you? I'm looking at the flowers. There's some bluebells on the way. And now we've used our transportation machine and we're going for that train. Now we're going to see if we can go a little bit faster. Try not to bang those feet on the floor. Just place them down nice and lightly. But we are moving those arms and legs a little bit faster. For 3, 2, and 1. And then back to that little stroll. Back to that little stroll. You might find that breathing's coming a little bit faster. And then we're going to take those little taps out to the side. Good. Little taps out to the side. Good. You may want to add a little bit of arm movement to this if you feel comfortable. Or you may just want to focus on tapping it out. So we're going to tap it out for quite a while. When I say quite a while, about another 10 seconds before we go for our walk. Okay, so let's bring the feet back. Let's go for that gentle stroll again. Gentle stroll. Remember, you can be holding onto that chair. And then when you're ready, we're going to speed it up till we're going for that train. Are you ready? Off we go. That's it. So we're really picking those knees up. That's it. Try not to bang those feet down. So place the ball of the foot down, roll through to the heel, and we're going to slow it down again. Slow it down again. So listening to that breathing rate, what we're doing is we're doing some high intensity work. Get that breathing rate up, followed by a period of recovery movement. So we do need to move. So let's just take those little taps and in. Good. That's great. Now we're going to do one more round of these, okay? One more round, and then we're going to move into our balance. So, are you ready? We're going to go for that little stroll. Nice and relaxed in the shoulders. Are we okay for this? If you can't do another high intensity, stay with the strolling. Let's do it. So we're late for that train, and we're just keeping that chest lifted, shoulders nice and relaxed. Off we go. We're going to catch it. I know we are. We're going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Woo! Slow it down. Slow it down. And this time, instead of those taps to the side, we're going to take those little taps behind you. So hold on to that chair. Keep those feet moving. That's important that we don't get dizzy. That's why we always keep those feet moving. Great. And in fact, by just gently keeping your feet moving, we're going to help improve your stamina. That's brilliant. Okay. And then we're going to bring those feet in, and we're going to take those little diagonal taps out to the side. Good. So we can take that one arm movement. We can take both arms out at the same time. Just forwards. That's it. Just be careful you don't hit that chair. And we're just going to keep it nice and easy, nice and slow. Hold on to that chair if you need to. We're going to just do a couple more, and then we're going to bring it in. Lovely. Okay, so what we're going to do now is just take that one heel at a time, pedal it out, pedal it out. How do you feel? So you might think, that was pretty hard work. So we're just going to take some nice gentle movement just to allow you a couple of minutes for recovery. Just to allow you a couple of minutes for recovery. So what we're going to try and do, keep the feet moving, but it's not going to be as fast-paced as that walking. We are going to see if we can bring these heels down. Now, let's think about holding onto the back of that chair. And all we're going to do is lift those heels off the floor. Slowly back down. Okay, so I'm just going to come here so you can see it better. We're going to lift those heels, pause at the top, slowly back down. So let's see if we can do another 8 of these. Lift those heels, looking straight ahead, slowly back down. Now we might be holding on with 2 hands. You might find balance-wise you can let go with 1 hand. But if you start wobbling, bring that hand back. And we can just challenge this balance by losing 1 finger at a time on that remaining hand till the index finger is the last to go. And only if you're safe and not wobbling do we let go of that hand. We're focusing on that fixed point in the distance, standing tall. And we're going to take 1 more. And then we're going to bring it down, and we're just going to move those feet. So that is working on calf strength, also ankle strength and mobility. And it's going to really help you when you're walking inside, outside, in the shops, wherever you are. Now, let's have a little think about just doing the opposite movement. So we're going to hold onto the chair. Be careful you don't lean backwards to this one, because all we're going to do is lift those toes up, balance on your heels, slowly back down. So we're going to pick them up and slowly back down. I find this unbelievably hard, so mine aren't going anywhere, but I'm trying. Lift and lower, and we're going to lift and we're going to lower. We're going to lift. Oh, I don't want to do any more. Make me. 4 more. And 3. Lift and lower. We're going to do lift and lower. And we're going to lift. And bring it back down. Oh, I don't like that one. It's not about me though. It's about us. Right then. So I'm hoping by now that your heart rate has come back down a little bit from our aerobic section. And what we're going to do is we're going to just shuffle backwards a tiny bit and we're going to come back to that heel raise. So do you remember we did this last week? Let me just show you without you joining in so you can see. We're going to lift the heels off the floor. We're going to take 2 steps forwards, lower those heels down. Okay, I'm going to move my chair actually because I'm walking into the ceiling. So slightly back, I've still got my chair. We're going to lift the heels. We're going to go 1, 2, heels down. Let's try that all together. Okay, so let's just see if we can lift those heels up. We're going to lead with our right foot. 1, 2, heels down. Shuffle backwards. Good. Let's do it again, leading with our left foot. Up. 1, 2, heels down. Now don't shuffle back now. What we're going to do next is we're going to lift the heels up. Leading with that left foot, we're going to take 2 backward steps. We're going to lift. 1, 2, heels down. Let's come forwards again. And we're going to this time lead with the right foot. So we're going to lift. 1, 2, heels down. Now, of course, I'm finding this quite challenging. So I've got 2 hands on my chair. Not saying my balance is brilliant. So if you want a challenge, again, you can take a hand away. If you're wobbling, bring it back. Okay. Good morning, Sam. Okay, so we are now going to up the challenge. So leading with this left foot, we're going to take 2 steps forwards, 2 steps back. Okay, so when you're ready, we're going to lift those heels up. We're going to step, step, then we're going to go back, 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 heels down. Let's lead with the right foot. Up, step, 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 heels down. Let's try that again, leading with the left foot. Up, we're going to go forwards, forwards, back, back, heels down. We're going to lead with the right foot. Up, we're going to step, 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 step. Keep that long spine, heels down. And then just walk it out, my friends. So bring the feet a little bit closer to that chair. Let's stretch out those calf muscles now. So we're just going to take that foot behind you, press the heel of that back foot towards the floor. And then we can lean into that chair to really make that stretch effective. Now, if your back foot was on a clock face, the heel would be at 6, the big toe would be at 12. And then we gently lift that up, we'll change feet. So let's take the other foot behind us, press that heel down, and we can lean into that chair to increase that stretch. Good. And then we're going to lift, bring it in. Wonderful work, my friends. Now, while we're here, we're going to repeat a balance exercise that's quite static that we did last week. So we're going to take one foot behind the other. Now, the toe's not touching the heel. There's about a centimetre or half an inch between them. I'm going to make sure my chair is actually there. Now, I tend to soften my knees a little bit. I'm going to look straight ahead. It's like balancing on a tightrope. So let me show you from this angle. I'm taking this foot behind the other one. Okay, it's like balancing on a tightrope. Now, if you feel comfortable letting go with one hand, you can. You may feel comfortable again lifting 1 finger, 2 finger, 3 finger, but that index finger is the last to go. And only if we're steady do we let that go. Now, you may find it much better to take the arms out to the side, but more challenging still here. But make sure you can reach that chair if you need it. And then when you feel ready, this back foot coming forwards, and we'll just move the feet a little bit. Should we try it with the other foot behind? So we're going to just stand nice and close to that chair. I was too far away first time. Bring that foot behind. That's it. Now we're looking straight ahead, softening those knees a little bit, sinking down into the floor. So really feel that balance. And only then do we start to try and challenge that balance. Only if we feel confident. Oh, I'm going to have to take one hand back to the chair and we're holding it there. And then we're bringing that back foot nice comfortably balance, and then we'll move the feet. So how is that, my friends? Would you like to have another go at that? Let's have another go. So we're going to start taking one foot behind. Good. Then we're lifting that chest and just seeing if we can relax the grip on the chair. Lift that chest. Look straight ahead. That's good. I looked over my shoulder and I started wobbling. So looking straight ahead. Then when you're ready, we're going to come out of it. Bring that back foot level with the front. And we'll do the same on the other side. So good. You can look down just to get that foot in the right place. But once you're ready, look straight ahead. Keep hold of the chair. And only then do we start to challenge that balance. Good. I'm going to leave my index finger there. I'm a bit too wobbly. And then we're going to say 3, 2, 1. Bring that foot back. And again, we're going to move those feet. Great stuff. Great stuff. So we're going to see now if we can do a little bit more. Lots of dynamic balance today and really working your core muscles and your sense of how you stand. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a step to your left. So we're just on the outside of this chair. So I'm going to stand like this. We're going to take that knee lift. So we're just going to lift that foot off the floor. And then we're going to do that little flamingo swing. So we're just going to sweep the carpet lightly. And we're just swinging that knee forwards and backwards. So that foot is flexed. And we're holding this trunk as steady as we can. So it's a bit like a pendulum swing, I always think. And then we're going to bring that foot down and just move those feet. And then we're going to do the same on the other side. So I'm going to put my chair here this time. I'm going to take a little step to your right. And if you want to hold on with 2 hands, you can. If you feel you can get away with 1, that's good. And some of you may have balance that's good that you can let go. Good. But again, take 1 finger at a time. And we're just taking that little pendulum swing. Notice this trunk. See, I'm not moving forwards and backwards. It's almost as if we're swinging from the hip. Good. We're going to say just a couple more. And then we're going to bring it down. And we're going to walk it back behind the chair. Lovely. And while we're walking it behind the chair, let's just take those little taps behind us again. Little taps behind us. Just opening out those hips. Good. Checking the time. We've got to make sure we get everything in today. Right then. So we're going to do one more thing. One more thing. What I'd like us to do is practice that powerful movement. So we've talked a little bit about what we might need to do if we find ourselves unexpectedly on the floor. So if you find yourself on the floor, we need to get ourselves off the floor. And obviously, if you've got people around to help, that's great. But isn't it great to be able to do it yourself? So what we talked about is from a kneeling position, being able to take that push up. So we're going to use the back of this chair. Now you are going to listen to your body and you're only going to go down as far as you feel you can come back up. And we can gradually improve that as the weeks go on. But we've got that chair in front of you. All we're going to do is stand nice and tall, feet are hip width apart. We're going to take that step behind. And it's this leg, this front leg is going to be the important one. This is going to support, the back leg's going to support, but the front one is the one that needs the power. So we need the heel down on the floor. What we're going to do is take that step behind, as if you were picking something off the floor. Just make sure your weight's going through that heel, and then we're going to drive back up through that leg. Okay? What I should have said then is watch me first, and then we'll do it together. So if you've done it once and you think you can do it again, fine. If you don't think you can do it again on that same leg, wait for the opposite leg. So we're going to take that step behind as if we were just picking something up, and we're going to drive up through the heel of that front foot so you can feel the glutes, the bottom muscles working. Move those legs, and we're going to do the same on the other side. So again, just taking that step. Now, if you're not sure, make that step smaller to start with. Okay, we'll build as the weeks go on. We're taking that step, coming down and powering back up. Lovely. Move the feet. That is it with our powerful movements. That is all we're going to do. We're just going to do one of those every week. Obviously, if you feel safe and you're able to do it in your own time, that's something else you could have a little practice of, but make sure you're safe. Make sure you've got something to hold on to. Make sure you're warmed up first, particularly those knee and hip joints. Right then, we're going to come around to the front of our chairs now. And what I would like us to do is to not sit down. So we're going to come around, feel for that chair on the back of the legs. And we're going to do another little bit of leg strength, this time both legs together. So we're going to aim for the back of that chair. Now, if you feel a bit unsteady, I want you to put that chair against the wall so that the chair's not going to fall backwards, because we're not actually going to sit down. But if you think you might, then put the chair against the wall. We're going to make sure we're evenly placed on the back of the chair, feet hip width apart, heels remain glued to the floor. As if you're about to sit down, we're going to sit, but not sit. We're going to come back up. So remember, those knees stay apart as we come down, all right? Are we ready? We're going to do another 9. So we're just going to imagine we're about to sit down, change our minds, squeeze that bottom up. You might find if your chair's a bit higher, you might tap the chair, come back up, don't sit if you can avoid it. Good. Slowly down, power up. Good. We're going slowly down, power up. Brilliant. So this is as far as you can go. That's fine. Find your range, work to it. Slowly down, power up. So that slow movement helps improve strength. Power up. Good. Slowly down, power up. I think we got 2 more. I may have counted wrong. Stop if you need to and just walk it out. And then we're going to do last one. Power it up. Move those feet a little bit. Woo. And then when you feel ready, we're going to go all the way back down. So again, make sure you're evenly placed. Push your bottom to the back of the chair. Woo. Good leg strength, my friends. If you can do that, you can do anything, I promise you. So, what are we going to need now? You can have a sip of water if you need one. So, Sam's just like, I'm not doing that. To be fair to him, he had a good old run on the beach this morning. So, when you've had a bit of recovery, you might want to have some water and just see if you can find your band. I should have put mine on the back of the chair. I've left it up there. So I'm just going to stand, move my feet, and I'm going to move, come and get my band. And then again, it's always about making sure you're evenly placed on this chair. Now, when you feel ready, when you've had your drink, we're going to come back into that working position. So I'm moving my sitting bones, 1 segment at a time. So the legs have been working relatively hard compared to the upper body. So what we're going to do is do a little bit of upper body work. And we're going to start off with this chest press. So this is a little bit like a press up. Now, if I show you an alternative that you can use against the wall, this is it. Now, I'm not asking you to do it now, but if you do want to improve your upper body strength, this is a nice, easy way of doing it. So you can take a few movements in your own time and then add the resistance. So we're taking that W position like the chest press, putting those hands against the wall, fingers facing upwards, and you're basically just lowering yourself towards the wall, pushing yourself away. But today, because we want to do our strength seated, we're going to sit nice and tall, take that position. So we're thumb up, palm facing you, taking that band so it's crossing your palm. And then we're going to push away and we're going to control that movement back. So exactly the same muscles as that press up against the wall, except we've got nice strong wrists in this position. Looking straight ahead, really slowly bring those elbows back in. So don't let that band snap you back in. Control that movement against the resistance. And again, we're breathing out and we're breathing in. Good. Relax the shoulders. Breathing out and breathing in. Good. Breathing out and breathing in. So we're going to do 3 more, my friends. If that's enough for you, though, just Stop now. What we want is the last couple to feel quite challenging, not impossible, not so we're going, but quite challenging. If you need to do a couple more, you can do a couple more. But if you need to do a couple less, you can. So the actual number is not as important as how the movement feels. Now roll those shoulders up and back. And what we're going to do next is we're going to do the opposite muscle. We're going to do some biceps. So this is going to help with things like carrying your shopping. So we're going to take the band and we're going to take one end onto the floor and we're going to place 2 feet on the end of that band. Now this time, again, thumbs up. We're going to hold onto the band like this. So it's a little bit like holding a tankard. We're going to just bring that elbow in. So if I bring that elbow in, I could hold it in here. And what I'm going to try and do is just bend that elbow and squeeze that wrist up towards the shoulder. So the only movement is this. We're not lifting the shoulder at all. And we're going to aim for 10. I'm not sure if I can do 10, but squeeze, slowly lower down. Good. So we're leading with the thumb. Chest is open, elbow in. There's no daylight between that elbow and the body. And we're going to breathe out. Is anyone else holding their breath? I was like, good. Squeezing up. So again, we're looking for the last 2 repetitions to feel quite challenging. So I could say do 10, but if number 6 is just almost, you don't think you can do any more after that, or maybe just 1, 6 is enough. Okay, I've lost count now. But this is my last one coming up. So I knew that one was really challenging. This is as far as I want to challenge. And then I'm going to roll my shoulders. Because if we start to take it too far, then other muscles start to come in to assist. So let's take the other side now. So we're going to just switch sides with that band. I'm going to just take that trigger position, hold onto my band, elbow in, shoulder relax, squeeze, and release. And we've usually got one arm that's a little bit weaker than the other because most of us are right or left-handed. So we favor one side. Good. Squeeze, slowly lower. That's it. Good. Brilliant work, guys. And funny enough, I noticed when we went into lockdown that my upper body strength wasn't really, I've been busy a lot and wasn't really very good. And it's amazing how just targeting the upper body strength twice a week makes a huge difference. So if this is the only strength work you do, maybe see if you can repeat these movements, maybe just another time in the week. Okay. If you need me to write them down for you, send a little video, then I can do that. Roll that shoulder, my friends. Okay. And then we're going to take the feet out of the band. We're going to do this upper back. So palms facing upwards, we're going to scoop that band up. You know this one, our upper back strength. We're just going to draw that band apart and still keeping the elbows in. We're just going to squeeze those elbows behind us into that rowing action. So should we aim for 10? But again, you decide how many works for you. So bringing it up, creating that tension and squeezing behind you. And release. And again, squeezing behind you. And release. Good. Tension, squeeze. And again, we're not holding our breath, keeping that chest lifted, chin drawn to the back of the neck, breathing out, breathing in. Good. And again. So when you find that one that feels really challenging, you know it's challenging because you don't really want to do any more. Mine's coming up now. I think that was it actually. And I'm going to release. But of course, we're all different in our ability to do strength work. Amazingly different. Now, let's see if we can take either end of the band. And we're going to see if we can work some lower back exercises in. So we're going to take one foot and the other foot onto the band this time. And remember we talked about that corset earlier. So just tightening that area a little bit as if you were doing up a tight pair of trousers. See if you can tighten your corset a little bit. And then we're just leaning forwards ever so slightly. Now we're peeping at our toes. We're going to walk the hands down the band just a fraction, and then we're thinking about lifting the chest, sitting up nice and tall. So what you'll find is the muscles in the lower back, I'm just going to show you here, they're lengthening in this position. And as we sit up, they're having to contract, and we've got resistance, so they're going to get stronger. So let me just pick these up again. And again, we're going to sit up nice and tall. So we often talk about those headlights on the front of the shoulders. Push those feet down into the floor, sit up nice and tall. We're not using those arms. So we've got headlights on the front of our shoulders. They're shining on the toes. And we're just going to sit up so the headlights shine on the wall in front of us. Good. So this is a great exercise for the lower back muscles. Good. It means that when you're standing, when you're walking, if you've got stronger back muscles, they won't hurt, or not as much anyway. Good. We're going to do 2 more, okay? Last one, nice and slowly down. Last one, sitting up nice and tall, and then release. So what I'm going to do is loosen off the band now. I'm going to take one foot out, and I'm going to leave that front part of the foot in the band. Okay, you can see my little toes just poking out the front. And now in that working position, we're going to do some leg extensions. So we're going to sit up nice and tall, lift that foot off the floor, secure those hands in the top of the thigh, and we're going to just straighten out that leg. Now, just make sure that the knee, when it bends over that big toe. So we don't want things out of line, otherwise your knee's going to hurt afterwards. So slowly in, power it out. Slowly in, power it out. Try not to lock the knee when we lengthen. We don't want to snap it into position. We want the muscles to be strengthened. So we want the muscles to be working. That's why it's very mindful, very controlled. Good. Breathing out. Always breathing out. Breathing in tends to take care of itself, but breathing out doesn't always happen when we're trying hard. So we got one more on this leg, and then we're going to release, change legs. So I like to loosen off the band, take that foot out, put this foot in. It's worth getting into position, getting it right so that we don't faffing around. Good. So we're going to relax there. Lift that foot off the floor. Secure those hands at the top of the thigh. So just, you can let those knuckles rest in that thigh. And again, just making sure that knee's bending in line with that second toe, powering out without locking out that knee. Powering, controlling the movement back. Powering out, controlling that movement back. Good. So this is our last exercise. Yeah, and then we're just going to do a few little stretches and you can go for lunch. So let's just do 3 more. 3 and 2. We got 1 more. Come on, we can do this. We can do this. Thigh-tastic. And release. Oh, that was hard work. That was hard work. Just see if you can move those feet a little bit. Just get that blood flowing through the legs. You want to move them in a different way, that's absolutely fine. And then we'll settle those legs down. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to roll back or walk backwards in my chair. Have a little relax there a minute, and I'm just going to take a little heel tapping in. So this is a nice way of just getting those heel taps in while just relaxing a little bit, getting that leg flow, blood flow, leg flow. Good. I'm obsessed with flow at the moment. Excellent. That's good. So we're going to just come back into that working position for the rest of our stretches. So let's sit nice and tall. Let's think about squeezing those shoulders up, relaxing those shoulders down. So we're going to take a little squeeze up. We're going to relax the shoulders down. We're going to squeeze up and down. So that takes any tension that may have built doing that strength work. And then let's take a slow circle with these elbows. And as you do this, breathing in, as you open, Breathing out as we relax back down. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, and breathing out. And then we're going to see if we can just reach up, stretching up and down. Good. Now what we're going to do is we're going to breathe in and we're going to breathe out. And let's just see if we can take those feet a little bit wider. We're going to take that breath in and then we're just gently going to lift that rib cage. You can hold onto that side of the chair if you like. Breathe out and we're breathing in and down. And then we're going to roll those shoulders and we'll do the same on the other side. So just sliding that hand up and bringing it down. Breathing in and breathing out. Good. We're going to take that one more breath in. Hold onto that side of the chair and just lift that rib cage. Get that lovely stretch of the trunk. Come back and down. And that little roll again. Good. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to see if we can bring those hands behind you. Bring them back. Nice bit of flow. Breathing in. And as we breathe out, leading with that little finger, we're going to hold onto the back of the chair, relax those shoulders, and just feel that nice stretch across the front of the body. Good. Breathing out, and then we just release. Good. Right then, let's take this stretch for the backs of those legs. So we're going to take one heel down in front of you. You can take your hands onto that supporting leg, and we're going to gently hinge at the hips, bring that chest towards the straight leg. And again, breathing out. It does help to relax with these stretches. And then gently lift that chest, slide that heel back in. We're just going to move those legs a little bit. And then we'll do the same on the other side. Good. So we're just going to lift that chest. See if we can keep that back nice and long. So very much hinging at the hips rather than curving that spine. Good. Breathing out. Breathing in. And then coming all the way back. Good. And moving those feet. So while we're moving the feet, we're going to take them a little bit wider. And what I'm going to get us to do is a little stretch for these inner thighs. So we're going to gently turn those toes out just a little bit. And we're going to place the hands inside the thighs. And we're just going to place a little bit of pressure here. Okay, little bit of pressure, sitting nice and tall. And then breathing out. And then release. We're going to bring those feet back in. Good stuff. And then finally, we're going to walk one hand over that shoulder, walk it all the way down. We're going to see if you can give yourself a nice little pat on the back. But just listen, this is quite often, this is someone's point of stretch. And as long as we move to your range, that's the key. Don't worry about going too far. Once you get there, we're just going to support that stretch. So I like to place my hands just between the elbow and the shoulder on that fleshy part, the muscular part. Good. And then release. Yeah, it's always good not to sort of place the hand on your joints when we're doing that. And we'll do the same on the other side. So walking that hand over just to your range. Gently pushing that elbow up towards the ceiling. Great stuff. And then again, let's release. Roll those shoulders. And we're going to think about just walking backwards in that chair. Woohoo! I've done you a proper hour today. It was good. Felt very targeted today. But anyway, relax in that chair, my friends. We are going to finish with a nice bit of breathing. This is my fave at the moment, the breath of joy, okay? So you can just sit nice and tall, but you can relax. And we're going to take a little breath in. And we're going to breathe out. Now, if you're next to someone, Nora and Sandra, we're going to breathe in. Turn those palms down. We're going to breathe out. So think in terms of flow. Breathing in, turning those palms up, filling those lungs, and breathing out. Oh, fantastic. We are finished. Well done. So when you do get up, remember about that moving the feet so you don't get dizzy, because we worked well today. So that is the end of our session. You're doing really well. What I did say to the other classes, I know things are opening up at the moment, but not for exercise referral. Public Health Wales have been quite strict with us. So when we are allowed to start back up, you will be the first to know. But I'm going to keep these online classes going as long as we can. We may switch on to Zoom, which would be really good because we can do that now. But I'm just waiting for the go ahead. But whatever you prefer. And yeah, have a great rest of the day. I hope the rain abates somewhat for you. Otherwise, well, you've done your exercise now. You've done well. Take care.